Thanks very much, and lovely to be here in Sydney to help celebrate really what is, I think, a really important milestone in financial literacy right across the country. Can I acknowledge and thank Professor Mark Abbott, who's the Executive Dean of the Business and Economics at Macquarie University. Thank you very much, and also Professor Bruce Downton, who's the Vice Chancellor at Commissioner Peter Kell, who Peter and I do a few gigs together every once in a while, which is always great fun, and of course Paul Clitheroe, who's becoming a good friend and somebody who I hold in very high regard in terms of the work that he does and some of the things he does in the community as well. So and thanks to all of you. It's almost like a gathering of the family, as it were, in terms of the financial services sector and everyone involved in probably one of the most important parts of our economy, and something which this year I've taken a lot of note in terms of just how important this sector is and all the elements of it, and how important it is the government gets things right in this sector. So we're working very hard from that perspective. It's been a fairly long road since the global financial crisis, and often start on this point because I think you need to sort of always have some perspective around how do we get to where we are today, because I think pre-GFC, maybe not too many universities would have considered having a chair of financial literacy. There were certainly plenty of people involved in that aspect of financial literacy, universities, banks, others, but maybe not to the sort of level that we regard it today. So it is, I think, it's timely. I think it's the right place, and I think it's a real tribute to Macquarie for doing this. I think that's a really good thing. One of the things that came out of the GFC, and certainly through the inquiries that we did at a parliamentary level, was that financial literacy was really at the key of so many different elements, so many parts that people really didn't understand. And I'd like to be able to say that we've made progress, and people really do. There was then and there's now, and everyone knows a lot better. Unfortunately, you probably agree that we haven't really progressed far enough yet. Certainly there's been legislative changes. We've improved the rules. I think the culture's changed, I think, which is absolutely fantastic. I think that's really at the core of it, at the heart of what needs to happen here in Australia and globally, and behaviour, which is then of course related to that culture. But the real question of financial literacy, I think, is something that we're going to have to work with and work on for many years to come. And so I think the importance of lifting the standards of creating courses, and it's great to hear that already over 1,000 people have signed up to this specific course, I think is really good news. I do a range of public forums around the country. I started in my electorate. I just call them really this sort of financial seminars, financial education seminars, and scam seminars. So I go out there and let me tell you, they're pretty popular. If there's something that people love to sign up to, not only a good morning tea or a good breakfast, but if you want to talk to them about two things, there's superannuation and financial literacy, and the other one is the little scams that are out there. So the ones that we're familiar with, the Nigerian emails, I don't know if you won another £50 million this morning. I probably did, again. And all of those things, but also just to inform people about where their superannuation can take them if they treat it with the right respect, and a whole range of things. There's something that always comes out of those forums for me, and that's that people really have very little knowledge. And I know, as you do, that we're not trying to go out there and educate every single Australian, all 22,830,000 of them. I should have checked half an hour ago. I've got a little app on my phone that tells me how many people there are in Australia to the minute. But there's almost 23 million. We don't really need all of them to be experts in financial literacy. They don't all need to understand, but they do need to have the language. They do need to understand it's important. They do need to be able to ask the right questions. They do need to make it important in their own lives, and not just wait until they're 55 or 60 before they take on that self-responsibility of saying, well, I'm now going to get interested in my own financial future. They really need to do it when they're 45 or 35. I dare say we should even maybe start when they're 25. So I think that's the real challenge for all of us, and I think that's one of the good things that'll come out of what's being done today. Government works on a whole range of different levels, and one of the things that we're really proud of is the work we've been doing with the regulator, with ASIC, in terms of the moneysmart.gov.au website. It's a fantastic website. I'm sure you've all been there many times. I've got it as an app on my iPhone. It's not too bad. It's got some great calculators, and sounds like I'm doing an ad for ASIC now, doesn't it? Yeah, keep going. Okay, sure. But it really is a useful website because it just gives you so much great information. And when I do my little financial forums, I always have it up on the screen and just show people just the vast amount of information that's up there. The best part, of course, though, that it's a website that is trusted, it's credible, and it doesn't sell you anything. So it's a really great starting point for people. You know, if you're going to start anyone anywhere, there's just so much. Where would you start? It's not a bad place, and particularly given that we've upped the ante on the campaign for unclaimed funds, and a few of us were just having a chat about it before, but there's something like $667 million of people's unclaimed funds in bank accounts, insurance policies and other around the country. There's one in Western Australia with a person's full name and where they used to live anyway, for nearly $1 million. So if have a look on there, might be you. I've looked and it's not me. And there's plenty of others in Sydney and around the country. But even at that level, I think there's a lot of work to be done there. So financial literacy, I think, is in the end becomes the cornerstone. It's the keystone. It's what holds it all together. Not only have we got to educate and help financial literacy across the board in terms of the Australian community, but all the way up the chain, right up to the professionals, right up to the people who are the educators themselves. And if anyone's ever been a teacher in this room or knows teachers, they'll tell you never stop learning yourself. And I think that's a truism in this case as well. Look, so congratulations. Congratulations to Paul, obviously, for being anointed or appointed or made a chair. Or Morris Newman does that. Okay, very good. But I certainly think it's a great appointment. It's certainly the right person, the right qualities, the right character of person, but also I think is really good for the sector itself, and I think there'll be plenty of other institutions following suit. So congratulations and well done. Thank you.